bombs flying, we aim for the heart. No backing down, no retreat, no fear. The tigers are falling, the end is near. Glory to mankind, we're rising as one. With every far-going heart that we scorn, they are coming for you, we are coming for them. We're the AXI and we're here to defend. Plasma burns bright, sinks getting warm. Cyclops ahead, they never learn. No retreat, no fear, we face the swarm. We've been here before, we'll weather the storm. Army to mankind, we're rising once more. With every far-going heart that we score. They are coming for you, we are coming for them. We're the AXI and we're here to defend. Plasma burns bright, streets getting warm. Cyclops ahead, they never learn. No retreat, no fear, we face the swarm. We've been here before, we'll weather the storm. Glory to mankind, we're rising once more. With every far-going heart that we score. They are coming for you, we are coming for them. We're the AXI and we're here to defend. Stars burn bright in the wake of the fight. The far-boys fall under humanity's might. Hear our words, sharper than blade. Glory to mankind, watch who you invade. Glory to mankind, we're rising once more. The Indra is coming to settle the score. They are coming for you, we are coming for them. We're the AXI and we're here to defend.
The sirens wail, invasion's near. Carry your locks down, our course is clear. Hangar echoes as the jump drive hums. We're heading out, hear the battle drums. Carrier drops in these war-torn grounds. The sky is filled with a deafening sound. Loadouts checked, our nerves are tight. It's chaos out there, but we're ready to fight. Outnumbered, outgunned, our ships torn asunder. Canopy smashed, but we won't go under. They're too many and we're too few. Is this fight too much for us to break through? Outnumbered, outgunned, we're lost in the fray. Canopy's gone as the swarm comes to play. Heat overwhelmed, systems start to fail. They're closing in fast, their strength prevails. Too many to count and far too strong. This might be the end, we may not have long. Outnumbered, outgunned, our ships torn asunder. Canopy smashed, but we won't go under. They're too many and we're too few. Is this fight too much for us to break through? With a fire, a light breaks through. We look to each other, we know what to do. Training kicks in, we form our ranks. Together we stand, there's no turning back. Outnumbered, outgunned, our ships torn asunder. Canopy smashed, but we won't go under. They're too many and we're too few. Is this fight too much for us to break through?
Cobra Yamiks.
Huzzah! Hello there, folks.
Hello, hello. It's good to see you. It's good to do something together.
Immediately I got something over my head.
In a while.
Oh no!
And obviously, the moment I did it, YouTube, my elite client crashed. Obviously, like as Like,
Cool,
it's
isn't
like,
it?
that's Yamiks, I'm automatically shutting down. Like,
Everyone run.
like, people are asking why
Oh,
you don't have a
God.
horse head. Like, they're like,
Oh,
false,
well,
false advertising, Mechan. Like, you put
I
Yamiks as
see.
a sword, it's
Okay,
like,
well, no, hold on. Give me a moment. If
So-
people earn it.
yeah. So Commander Yamiks and I are doing a joint stream. So he's streaming live on his channel, and I'm streaming live on my channels. If I manage to get them working, because I was struggling with Twitch, Kick, and YouTube at the same time. But I think I managed to get them working. You guys tell me if it's
Jesus
working.
Christ,
Nintendo, or not.
Kick.
I know it's
Oh,
like
boy.
one of those crazy. Might as well. Like if you're doing two, why not
Might as
three,
well.
right? Right? Might as well.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
since it's
yeah.
a pain in the neck to get it to work to begin with.
Oh, indeed.
And Yamiks, awesome. Well, thank you for agreeing to do this first and foremost. Like you and I were having a really fun chat over Discord about ships in Elite Dangerous. I think you put out a really awesome video just recently about sort of like your view of how to rebalance all the ships in the game. And I think one thing you and I have in common is that we probably have used more than the average share of ships that most people have used in the game.
I mean, by the sheer amount of our playtimes alone, I think that would come with the territory. For me, I recently looked up my overall playtime, and I definitely know it's over 3,000 hours. It probably is around 3,300, something like that. I need to calculate it again, but it's close, something like that. I think Mccann, yours is quite a bit longer than mine, but yeah,
I'm not
Chase.
looking it up. I refuse to look up my playtime. I don't know what. I don't want to know what it is. Like it'd be depressing. Like although candidly, like a bunch of it is probably gonna be idling, sitting in a station like now, chatting with people, or like things like that. So like, yeah. But look, lots of ships in Elite, which I mean, I think the point you were making in your video, which I kind of agree with. It's like that most people start in the Sidewinder, because everybody starts in the Sidewinder. That's the one thing we all have in common, which is the ship I'm in right now. By the way,
There's an
because
exception to it, sure, but
Oh,
generally
right,
speaking,
you can
your
start in
average
the Eagle, right? If you like a Kickstarter backer, like there was an option as a Kickstarter backer to start in an Eagle, right? If I remember correctly.
That's
Right.
one of them. However, that wasn't the only one. There was a tier for something as high as a Cobra 3. Yes. There were even pledge tiers. I think it was 250 pounds. But yeah, essentially that tier gave, you can actually go and look it up on Kickstarter because that page is still alive, all that stuff. And you can see the tiers for pledging, and one of them certainly gave Cobra 3 as well as a starting vessel as well. But yeah, Eagle was the most common, next cheapest, easiest one. So yeah.
So almost anyone,
A little bit of
except
that
the,
stuff
except
that is an
the,
intro for the
the most
Kickstarter.
determined backers of the beta from over 10 years ago, start in the Sidewinder. And then people move up, and typically they find some ship they love. If they are haulers, maybe they fall in love with the Type 9. If they are explorers, it used to be they would fall in love with the Asp Explorer or DBX. If they were fighters or PvPers, like they would certainly have Fer de Lance or Meta de Lance in their hangar, and they didn't use much else in terms of like ships in the game. Whereas I think a lot of the fun in a game like Elite is variety. It's like the ability to try out different ships, which is why having balance and having ships that are good at certain things but not so good at others is a good thing. I think we both agree, Yamiks, on as far as the game balance is concerned, right?
Generally speaking, it's a lot more fun when there are multiple tools and in a game, but it really gets very quickly boring, even from just an average player's perspective, when every tool is basically a reskin. So the more options, and the more options that actually have a meaning behind them, the more fun overall it is. I mean, you can take a look at plenty of games with those exact examples. To a certain degree, you could say, well, Dark Souls or any of the Souls-born games, because of their variety of weapons, items, and so on and so forth, the game overall just becomes a lot more interesting. So yeah, having weapons that or items, generally speaking, that have their place in the world, actually not being just a straight up upgrade, is a lot more interesting environment to explore and play in.
And I mean, starting from the Sidewinder, again, iconic ship that everyone started, or most everyone, as we just talked about, started in, which you're basically saying, don't touch it. It's as good as it should be for a starter ship, which, by the way, I completely agree. If anything, I would argue that this little ship is quite underrated. As in, the Sidewinder handles incredibly well. It's really fast. It's really agile. It has a low profile, so it's kind of hard to hit this ship. Like, it's pretty good at avoiding damage. And it's kind of unique in ways that I think make it, to the point we were making earlier, actually quite a bit interesting. It's a ship that has the smallest thrusters in the game together with a hauler, but it's quite a bit heavier than the hauler, which means that it's probably the most sensitive to mass of any ship in the game. Like, if you actually synthesize limpets and put 4 additional tons of cargo in your hold, because yes, Elite can actually create matter out of nothing, amazing thing that the game is able to do. The ship will actively slow down, like some 30-40 meters per second once those limpets hit your hold. I don't know. I'm a big fan of a Sidewinder. It's a really capable ship that I find incredibly fun to fly, and I mean, it's also iconic as a starter ship.
Generally speaking, yeah, overall the ship is the starting point. I mean, unique is one word to give it, if you don't want to say that it's butt ugly, but there's that. I mean, what other space...
Ugly? No, man. Look at
what
this.
What other
it's
space game will let you...
It's a beauty, but ugly. Oh, look at this. It's like...
It's a box!
It's absolutely beautiful and stunning. No, we disagree on this one. Like...
The thing is, I mean, what other space game will let you fly a literal, just a polygon, essentially, as a starting ship? Literally, the testing audiences for, AAA games would immediately say, well, a player should feel somewhat cool, and again, Eagle would be the immediate sort of the next proper pick for a proper starting ship to make a new player, the new user feel cool. But Elite Dangerous says, nah, take one of these and screw off.
Hey, at least this one has textures. The original one didn't even have textures. It was like a wireframe model. So I think this is a big upgrade compared to what was originally was.
It's original, but original... let's see. Original Elite Dangerous started with a Cobra, didn't it? I think it did start with a Cobra 2 or Cobra 1, I think it was. But whatever the case, yeah, it was wire frames. But however, the last game in the series was Frontier 3. Well, regardless, I think Frontier 2 and...
It was Frontier First Encounters.
Either one of them started with a version of an Eagle rather than a thing like this, essentially, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I touched
you had
those
different in Frontier Elite 2 and in First Encounters, which is really Frontier 2.5. You had different starts, so you could start with different ships with different number of credits, if I remember correctly. Like,
it's been a while, so don't quote me on that one. I don't want to load up that, frankly speaking, not particularly good games.
It was awesome.
On my piece.
It had Fargoids. You could actually meet and talk to Fargoids, unlike in this one. Like, they even gave you a Fargoid ship to fly, like, which you can only dream of in this game.
Sure, in that sort of a sense, when you're just looking at the game series itself, yeah, it's an upgrade. A problem is that at the same time when those games came out, even your average space game tended to be a bit more graphically and visually, aesthetically more pleasing. That was... On a technical scale, yes, Frontier still managed to do a few things that were really interesting, but gameplay-wise, those weren't particularly fun. We can argue about that, but regardless, visually speaking, it definitely wasn't the most aesthetically upgraded or pleasing game on the market. So yeah, once you look outside of that Elite niche, Ooh, you'll find some more interesting examples. Plenty of them indeed. But regardless, returning then back to the ships themselves. So yeah, when it comes to Sidewinder itself, essentially it's a good starting point for the stats and basically just well, maybe not aesthetics, but regardless, it's a starting point, and for what it does, what it can do. It's perfect in my view, and yeah, there's no reason really to change it, because pretty much everything else is going to be an upgrade or a side grade. More namely, specifically about the Eagle 2 and the shit bucket hauler that technically is cheaper, and we can move on to the next ships then.
The
your
hauler,
thoughts?
the hauler,
yeah,
as
let's go
we
with the
say,
hauler.
you know, the hauler in Antique Xeno Combat is famous because, as we say, the hauler is a ship that has the best weapon convergence in the game. Like, for those who don't get the joke, it is because the hauler only has one weapon, and it's hard to get better weapon convergence than just having one weapon, because like all you're doing is pointing a single point, and it's as precise as it gets. This is supposedly, as the name implies, a trading ship, but the reality is it's actually quite popular as a combat ship as well, simply because it's just so tiny, funky, and fun to fly that there's like a sort of whole micro sub-community within the Antique Xeno community that just loves flying and fighting in haulers. Obviously, where you lack in sort of breadth and capacity of a ship, you need to make up in numbers. So you gotta bring friends, but take 3 or 4 haulers and you can do some damage to even some of the nastiest things in the game. It does take some coordination, but that's part of the fun.
I mean, death by the 1,000 cuts is a thing, sure. I mean, as long as you throw enough shit on the wall, you'll probably break through it as well, but I don't know, Chief. One thing that Hauler is more famous for, even in the late game, is a taxi ship. Essentially, a ship that has the biggest jump range for quite some time in the price range, making it really interesting hopping ship, hence my particular comment about just renaming it differently, because hauling, well, yeah, technically it also has bigger cargo bay than Sidewinder, but a couple of tons is not really that much, and it definitely excels more, even in late game, about its jump range, or at least in kind of a way it should, because, hey, it has nothing going for it. No speed, no weapons, no nothing. Literally just one thing it does, and it's a sort of cargo bay, maybe, but mostly jump range, because of its just pure lightness. And when it comes to it, yeah, my suggestion in my big-ass rant was essentially that really more of a comment about how the ship is sold in the game's store. And big problem about the game store is essentially you look at every ship that is out there, essentially on my screen, I have that, and it's all E-rated plus some bizarre amalgamation of crap in optional compartments which literally obscure either the max jump range or even pure E-rated ship's stats. You can't really compare those stats with anything that a fully upgraded ship would manage to do, or actually even showcase what the ship can do. Hence, my simple suggestion was to change the stats screen properly to display the maximum stats or maximum capabilities without, or with engineering would be really nice. Still, when it comes to Hauler itself, my suggestion was simple, because it is, yes, it is actually cheapest ship in the game. Just simply delete a couple of things from the optional compartments and make it actually cheaper than rebuying a Sidewinder, because Sidewinder is being sold right now in any sort of, well, in Jameson where I'm sitting, for 28,000 credits, while Hauler is 46. So a normal player would think, well, that's an upgrade, but in reality it's not. It's really not. So that was my suggestion.
I think, all in all, look, I think there's a big community that loves this ship for what it is, which is a tiny little ship that actually flies very well. That's the thing. has perfect convergence, as we just talked about.
When you have
and is great
nothing
with
going
friends.
for you, or you don't have any weight, literally any thruster will propel you really quickly.
Yeah, no, I mean, as I said, this is a ship to use with friends. So the unique thing about the hauler is it's great with friends. At least that's all I think about using
Yeah, it's
the
a
hauler.
taxi ship. It's a perfect taxi ship by itself. Hell, you don't need friends for that. Hell, you can't even get a friend inside.
Yeah. Anyway, we next up, I think, have the Adder, I believe, or the Eagle.
We
depending
can
where
talk
we
about
go.
the Eagle
Go to
if you
Go
got
to
any
Eagle.
comments on it.
I have an Eagle. Yeah, the Eagle is such a iconic weapon ship because it's like the first
It's
fighter.
beautiful.
It's beautiful. It looks great. It handles the best in terms of actual handling of any ship in the game. It is not the ultimately sort of most maneuverable as far as actual thrust is concerned. That title belongs to the Viper Mark III, that has even higher boost acceleration than the Eagle, but it gets close and it turns a bit better than the Viper, so there are situations where you may want to use the Eagle instead of the Viper. In combat, it's really sort of held back by the fact that it's the only ship that has a single utility slot, which is a big limitation, especially in anti-Xeno combat, where the use of heat sinks is the difference between sort of life and death in most situations. Because of its handling.
He's not the only one. Imperial Eagle also has the single
Eagle
utility slot. But
That's a great point. And one of the things that we often fall prey to is conflating the Eagle and its Imperial cousin, which have so much in common, but they also have quite a few differences. So I think you're right to call out the fact that they're definitely distinguished and separate ships. But the Eagle is popular in hooning, like as in flying around sort of like with acrobatic maneuvers around a particular destination, and it can handle itself in a fight. It is the smallest ship that has taken down a Hydra interceptor solo without leveraging bugs or tricks of any kind. So in proper hands, it can fight.
Well, when it comes to Eagle itself, right, it still technically does hold the distinguished title of the most maneuverable ship in the game, by which we mean essentially the combined rotational speeds of your pitch roll are the highest. Yes, technically. However, just like all the other normal old school ships, essentially outside of just recently added ones, and Type 7 for odd reasons, Eagle has doesn't have a particularly good yaw pitch speed, as most other ships in Elite Dangerous have, for, relatively speaking, obvious reason of default control scheme for Elite Dangerous being set as a, for mouse players, as a pitch roll based rotation. Essentially, for your mouse you got rolling and pitching, rather than yaw for left and right and up and down being the pitch. So yeah, for that reason, essentially the ship is created to have, well, negligible pitching, negligible yaw turn speed, however pretty incredible pitch pretty incredible pitch speed, which is not sure if any ship actually beats it. I need to go over the stats again. But the thing is, maxed out, yes, technically, Eagle is still best, but barely. And I mean barely by less than 10 degrees a second. Can anyone guess which is the second fastest turning ship in the game? But we'll get to that. So yeah, now Eagle, generally speaking, is a side grade to a Sidewinder. It's geared towards the combat, and what a change it is. Even though at the very start, when I started the game, I picked Sidewinder, jumped to Adder, skipping Hauler and Eagle, but I really shouldn't have, because boy oh boy, once I started making those reviews back in the day, picking up Eagle was such a bizarre epiphany that it looks incredible, both outside and inside. And of course it pilots really nicely. As for the end, for the late game, when you pretty much can pick up any ship in the game, Sadly, there's not particularly a good reason to pick it up these days. But as a side grade, as a starting ship, I omitted this from my video, but I wanted to suggest additional game change. For the ship itself, it doesn't need change because, well, it serves its purpose, and it technically should still serve the purpose of being the most maneuverable ship. Racing minigame would be really nice to have in Elite Dangerous, but that's a far-fetched dream that we can only hope for, which, let's be frank, is probably never going to happen, but regardless. When it comes to Eagle, honestly, with the new developer approach to the game, or at least their attempts in certain ways to create a better new player experience these days. I can talk about that validity, but they claim that they, with the new development team, want to create better new player experience, and fine if you do so. So, here's a suggestion that I didn't mention in the video. How about let any player start the game and choose between Sidewinder, Eagle, or Hauler, because all three of them are equally good. However, each one does something a little bit different. So it really wouldn't be much of a problem to offer these three things. Immediately, the combat enthusiasts would go for Eagle. Your average player would probably pick Sidewinder because it can do more things. And those who want to do trading immediately would see Hauler's appeal. So why not?
Yeah, because
That's just my suggestion. Yeah, so there you go.
Oh, the next ship, and this is, I think, the first ship where we diverge in our assessments, and we have slightly different experiences with this one, is the notorious taxi of the galaxy, the Adder. Like the ship that many of us have taken when we taken what the name is, like the name of a taxi service. Can't even remember what it's called in game, but essentially Apex shuttle, the Apex Interstellar shuttle. Yes, it is the, for whatever reason, the ship of choice of Apex Interstellar, and you are like, this ship is fine, I wouldn't change it, and I'm like, this ship really sucks. It's like the second worst ship in the game in my book, maybe.
Okay, what's wrong with it?
Well, first of all, like about a third of your like view is obfuscated by the canopy, so basically you can't see.
That's just a visual. Who cares?
Who cares? Well, how are you gonna fly if you can't see? Like, you know, it's a bit of a limiting factor not being able to see what's in front of you. I find that to be an issue. At least for me, it's an issue. Like,
fly with vibes, okay? Just fly with vibes.
Well, I have killed a Fargoid blindfolded. I have done that, but it's not exactly what I do for. It's not exactly what I like to do, just for the sake of doing it. And it just flies like garbage. Its pitch yaw ratings are terrible. Like, it's slow. It's got really. It's got a small power distributor. It's got nothing going for it. It's like, it's not good for combat. It's not good for trading. Like, I guess they put it in a taxi role because it's literally the only thing I can imagine it being kind of somewhat not completely terrible at.
Well, here's my counter to that. First of all, it is the first cheapest ship that you can immediately pick that has a multi-crew seat.
So you can experience all the multi-crew bugs for yourself from the get-go early on. That's very exciting.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Like,
second of all, but yeah, basically, Adder works as a simple upgrade, an immediate upgrade for Sidewinder as a multi-role ship. And for that price increase, yeah, you're getting more cargo space, you're getting more hull, and I think you got also more shields, but either which case, basically, you also get more weapons, because this is also the cheapest ship that allows you to get medium hardpoint, which also, remind me, enables you to do what gameplay?
The miner? Subsurface displacement?
Yes, exactly. Mining. It allows you to do all types of mining. And as a matter of fact, back in the day, when I tried to do multiple speedruns as to see how fast you can get to from a completely fresh save to Anaconda, this was one of the approaches I took. I picked up a Sidewinder, did a couple of quick missions, or a bounty essentially. Was able to pick immediately Adder, and because of that medium compartment or hard point, I was able to add the asteroid cracking thing, the seismic
Seismic charge launcher,
yeah, there you go. And I was able to immediately just pack one full adder with one cracked asteroid and immediately jump to Asp Explorer. And that accelerated me to rather quickly, if I get lucky, of course, to get to a early mid-game ship, if you will. Asp Explorer I still consider as early mid-game, but regardless. Yeah, that allowed me to, after with the Asp Explorer, to do, either, again, mining or passenger missions. And that further on accelerates you to do more consistent money makers, and basically within less than 2 hours get Anaconda. Yeah. So as a stepping stone, as I call it myself in my review, a pavement slab, it is a stepping stone, and it's rather than a side grade. It's supposed to be that upgrade portion, if you will, that very early one, and for that purpose it serves its it serves its purpose essentially. But for the end game, yeah, there's not particularly a lot of reasons to actually pick it up. Yeah,
my carrier disagreed with you so much that decided to shoot the adder down. That's how much even my carrier disliked this ship.
We'll talk about those.
Yeah. All right, so that's the adder for you guys.
Yeah.
Moving up from the adder, and it is really a kind of move up from the adder. What we got next?
We can go with Imperial Eagle or Viper. Imperial Eagle is cheaper technically. So yeah, Imperial Eagle. Your thoughts on it?
The Imperial Eagle is truly a sister ship to the Eagle. It's got a lot of things in common, from its 3 hard points, and don't be fooled by the fact that one of the hard points is a medium, because this ship does not have the power distributor to use a medium weapon together with 2 small weapons. So effectively,
well, that one small is upgraded, so you can do mining in it.
Yeah, mining in the Imperial Eagle, I can bring home all those 3 tons of platinum. That's definitely a great build, Yamiks. We'll add it to the Yamiks recommended builds. Like, here is the mining Imperial Eagle, approved by Commander Yamiks.
I like shitty ships, okay?
But the signature of the Imperial Eagle is that it's fast. It is significantly faster than the Eagle, and it is as fast as the Viper Mark III, which means it's the fastest ship in the game. It can hit 932 meters per second. In fact, it can generally do so more easily than the Viper Mark III.
21 meters, 921.
There's a
That's
3
the
in there.
maximum.
It must be 923, or am I misremembering?
No, it was 921.
That's because you have a mining seismic charge launcher on yours, and I dropped mine, so I'm going to
either which case, basically both of those ships can hit the maximum self-propelled speed in the game. But yeah,
yes.
Carry on.
So they're very fast, but it does pay the price in terms of agility compared to the Eagle. So its lateral thrusters are significantly weaker, and its turn rate is lower. So if you want a straight line velocity, then the Imperial Eagle is the way to go. If you want slightly more maneuverability, the Eagle is the way to go. And because if you pick the Eagle, you generally want the maneuverability, you generally will go with the Eagle instead of the Imperial Eagle as a general rule. Although I have to say, like, in Void Black, it does look pretty sleek. So there's that. It's still a very pretty looking ship.
The Imperial White is really nifty.
Very standard, though. But yeah.
Yeah, well, hey.
White is pretty, too.
But generally speaking, right, Imperial Eagle is also technically the first Navy rank unlock without actually delving into navies themselves.
That's true.
As an Imperial, right. For whatever reason. But there you go. That's a niche, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, its real niche is really the top speed. And for that, it really should. And really, the game should accommodate that speed and the propensity for players to do hooning, right? Just fucking around and just making a big splotch on some kind of a planet, essentially. Hence, we need racing mode, or racing minigames, or hell, even racing tracks, just as props. Because, God damn it, why not? That's one of the things that I do actually like from fucking Star Citizen of all goddamn things.
Yeah.
So yeah, much rather. Why not?
Racing would be fun. I mean, racing is fun. Like, we kind of go out of our way to create our own versions of racing, in particular.
Yeah, there's a racing league in Elite Dangerous. Groups. Go check them out. But yeah, no, I mean, Elite Dangerous already has technically racing built in the game, already made. You know, the tutorial, when you play it, there are rings, and they go sequentially, and the game checks when you go through them sequentially. Yes, make it a gameplay.
I know. I mean, again, racing would be really cool in this game. And in fact, to your point, there's already communities that are kind of like creating their own ways to do as much of it as they can. But if it was available, I'm pretty sure it'd be very popular. And talking about racing, I think the next ship in our list is the racing ship par excellence in the game. The Viper Mark III, iconic ship, and probably my favorite small ship, if you include the ship that you hate the most. But we'll talk about that later. The Viper Mark III is truly a remarkable little small ship. It's, together with the Imperial Eagle, the fastest ship in the game. It has the highest acceleration in the game. Like, we've actually measured it. The trichord acceleration, so when you accelerate on 3 axes, like forward, up, and right, or any 3 that you choose, which is the highest you can accelerate in the game. This thing pulls on boost 70G. 70G is more than enough to kill any normal human being. So, like, suspension of disbelief to a degree. But yeah, this thing boosts. When it boosts really fast. Woo! And as a result, it is the preferred ship for hooning, together with the Eagle, depending on whether acceleration and control or the ability to turn is desired. Which, by the way, is one of the things that's kind of somewhat never shown in the game and never particularly rated, is how strong the lateral thrusters of a ship are, which in practice determine how the ship flies more so than its ability to pitch, yaw, and roll, for the most part. If you sort of take some of the
extremes. It's a part of it. It's, of course, part of it, yeah.
Yeah. And this ship, I mean, this ship can fly, it can fight, it can race, it can... It's probably the only thing it can't do is jump very far and carry a lot of cargo. But other than that, this is one of the very best small ships, and used to be my favorite small ship in the game.
For the price it's in, it's absolutely magnificent. I mean, 2 mediums to 2 small weapons immediately just puts it quite a league above pretty much every other combat ship before. For the very small price, and it matches all the medium ships that are coming afterwards up until, oh god, I think we get to Diamondback Explorer, which is a couple millions worth of ship, which beats it in damage overall.
Yeah, and flies
everything up until then is basically the same. So yeah,
pretty poorly. The DBX, I'm partial to the DBX. I've flown it a lot. I like it, but it flies really bad.
That's not what it's for, after all. But when it comes to Viper 3, yeah, it's astonishing how many unique aspects it really has. But yeah, overall, it's a phenomenally great entry, an upgrade, essentially, to pretty much everything outside of Adder, I think. I think Adder actually had more cargos. Yep, Adder has more cargo space than Viper 3. So if you're gonna go for trading, then you're probably gonna skip to the very next ship. Oh, right. Also, when it comes to my suggested changes, nothing. Absolutely not. I think it's kind of overpowered in some way. So no, Viper stays.
We agree. Yeah. This is one ship. Ooh, this is one ship we agree. The Viper is awesome.
Indeed. So next is Cobra 3, the iconic poster child of the game. So my suggested changes for it were none, because, well, it is quite a bit more expensive. In fact, more than twice as expensive as Viper 3. It hosts basically the same hard points, the same utility points. Sure, it has more hull, but less shields, and it goes quite a lot slower. However, compensates that in that price, as well as in that maneuverability and speed, with quite a lot of more internal space, making it a true all-rounder, perfect mid-ground of the early game. So.
Yeah, I mean, the Cobra Mark III is probably the first true multi-role ship. I don't know that any of the other ships can really be called multi-role, because...
Sidewinder, I mean.
Yeah, well, the Sidewinder, is it really multi-role? I don't know. It's no role.
It really has no
role.
well, it technically has comparison of Eagle and Hauler, so it's kind of in middle of those two, but
maybe, I don't know, like, yeah, I guess you could make that argument. But, I mean, if you sort of like then take that one step up to moving just beyond the truly beginner ships, then the Cobra Mark III falls into that multi-role sort of segment. But unlike some of the multi-roles in higher segments, it's not as good as like some of the higher multi-role ships. As in multi-role ships...
That's the thing, you pay extra, you get more, obviously. You lose a couple of things, but those are negligible. So yeah, obviously with price you'd kind of get a little bit more, wouldn't you? So for the price Cobra 3 is in, well, you get quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm trying to think as to, like, this is, compared to other ships that we talked about it right now, this is probably one of the ships I've used the least. And I'm trying to think in the back of my head, like, why is that? Like, because, I don't know, maybe it's because it feels in my mind that it's so not unique. It's like, it's like the reference in the game, right? It's like Jameson's ship, and like, it's iconic in a way, but it doesn't feel special to me. Maybe it's just, you know, maybe it's just Mechan. Like,
it's another polygon, okay, so I can't blame.
Yeah, it does look like a weird polygon, that's true.
But for me, that was my actual third ship after Adder. I jumped immediately to Cobra 3, and yeah, it came with quite a lot of upgrades. Overall, it was a straight upgrade for Adder. Sure, there were some little things that I lost from Adder, but none of them really mattered. Especially back then, we didn't have engineering, so it really didn't matter that much. So yeah, Cobra 3 was more tankier, more powerful, had more space. Especially, you could do both. It was the bounty hunting and trading without a problem. So yeah, that was just a no-brainer.
Yeah. What we got next? What is it? Keelback?
Viper 4.
Oh, the Viper 4. I even forgot that ship exists. In fact, it's one of the few ships I don't have in my hangar. So you'll have to do the talking, because evidently I know very little about the Viper 4.
Right, Viper 4, surprisingly and somewhat interesting, and yet at the same time derivative work. I mean, it is a literal just remodel, or a, you could say basically just a Viper 4, a Viper 3 with a ship kit on, which, I mean, it looks like it, doesn't it? But its noteworthy aspects are... well, very few. Namely, specifically, it is a Viper 3, and coming from Viper 3, you think, oh, well, it was a really fast ship, so this is gonna be, you know, in the same vein, just more combat-oriented, but still really fast ship. No! It loses quite a lot of that speed, and what it gains is literally, at least it used to, have the highest hull amount any small ship could carry. Until just recently, and we'll get to that. But yeah, Viper 4 excelled in being the hull tank, a very early game hull tank that beat every single small ship in the hull hardness. And I've fought against a few hull tank builds of this ship, and my suggested change was more specifically about the fact that the game itself needs to change in order to facilitate hull tanks themselves, decrease also the impact of shields in many different ways. We could talk about that for days, but essentially running a hull tank in Elite Dangerous just doesn't work. It sucks. The game is basically almost forced. No, it actually is forcing you to run shields at any time because of just the insane amount of module damage, the lack of ability to properly protect yourself against it, and many other little things that basically make hull tanks just not that viable. So
Except
yes,
in anti-Xeno combat, because anti-Xeno
well,
is...
that's the
the-
exception. Yeah, that's the exception. Anti-Xeno is really a very late added in game's life cycle use case for a hull tank. But outside of it, well, sadly, Viper 4, because it loses quite a lot of speed and gains that hardness, I mean, it doesn't have the stealth capability, and hull tanks essentially always get just butt fucked by missiles immediately. Like, just no question about it, just immediately. So that's the sad reality of it.
Yeah,
So that's why it doesn't work. The
yeah.
game needs to change.
Yeah, I agree. The Cobra Mark IV kind of like could really use some love. Where we're going next? Where we go next on the list?
Right. Next, we got Diamondback Scout.
Oh, the DBS.
So,
Ooh.
yes. Your thoughts on it?
I have it. I have a DBX here. I think I don't know where I put my Diamondback Scout. I have it somewhere else, probably, or maybe I sold it. But the Diamondback Scout is generally considered the mini chieftain in the AX community because it handles and fulfills a kind of a similar role. It's like agile, it's got reasonably good firepower, it's got like a decent like power distributor, and it's got otherwise pretty decent combat characteristics, so that before sort of all the new ships came out, it was probably considered the best combat ship for AX among the small ships. Like the Viper Mark III was also good, but its internals are really limited. It's got power plant issues, got other issues. The DBS just was that sweet spot of distributor energy, weapon configuration, and handling that made it just work. So very popular in combat as far as small ships were concerned, obviously before the ship that shall not be yet named came out.
Yeah, right. So Diamondback Scout, it's a rather interesting, very underlooked. It's kind of a stepping stone ship again. Although it is the first ship with 4 utility slots, which is one of its unique aspects. And my suggestion for it, oh god, do I even remember what the hell did I suggest for it? Fuck. Oh crap. Right. My suggestion was definitely increasement in jump range. Essentially, when it comes to Diamondback Scout, well, it has a downgraded internal space than Cobra 3 already had. So it's technically it is a multi-role-ish, although technically the game counts it as a combat explorer. Okay, well, if you're gonna go combat explorer route, well, then you would obviously understand that, okay, it has some decent combat capability, which it has in the weapons, which are the same as the Viper 3 as well as Cobra 3, for quite a lot more price. But yeah, also the same power distributor, but you have quite a lot more utility slots, which allow you to boost up your shields quite a bit more. You got decently about the same speed, or somewhere in between the Viper 3 and Cobra 3, if I remember correctly. Bigger power plant, thrusters, although, again, the thruster size is a different sort of thing that doesn't really necessarily give you more speed or whatnot else, but regardless. The ship itself is supposed to, at least in theory, be this ship that you can actually jump far and also do combat in by sacrificing quite a bit of that upfront weapon power, which for hardpoints you can immediately sense. For the same price you get for quite a lot more price of a Viper, you get Diamondback Scout, which basically deals the same amount of damage, but it can jump quite a bit further at the sacrifice of those internals, and that's its sort of niche. Another niche that Diamondback Scout sort of occupies, or ideally could occupy, is stealth, surprisingly. However, again, the game doesn't necessarily facilitate that sort of a gameplay, sadly, and hence, really, my suggestion was to still increase Diamondback Scout's jump range so that it is more than the Diamondback Explorer, which is more expensive and also heavier ship, which is more capable. You know, Scout is just just a lighter, smaller ship. And for a lighter, smaller ship, well, I think it should be jumping a little bit further than Diamondback Explorer. But, you know, for the extra price for Diamondback Explorer, well, you get quite a bit more other things. Still, both of the ships would definitely benefit from the game supporting some kind of a stealth gameplay, be that on foot stuff or whatever, infiltration, if you will, or just deep space missions where these types of ships would actually excel. Again, there are many ways to balance these things, but these were just a couple of my suggestions.
I think it's a great suggestion, Yamiks. Like the concept of a scout having a high jump range but having limited internals to do much else other than go places. I think it's actually a pretty cool idea for specializing a build. So we like it. We like the Diamondback Scout.
Oh yeah. It looks absolutely cool for that industrial look.
And I'm showing you a Diamondback Explorer because I don't have a Diamondback Scout, but they look almost the same. Almost the same. They behave differently,
there's very little differences. In fact,
I think this is it. Look, it just landed next to me. Oh, sorry. There's a Diamondback Scout. See, it's kind of hard to tell the difference. Is it a Diamondback Scout? No, it might be.
There's a little bit of different paint job. There's a little bit of different paint job, but everything else is literally the same.
Right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So DBS, we love. What we got next?
Well, for the very first ship to breach the 1 million credit line, we have the Type 6, the first medium ship. So, what do you think?
So I'm going to show you a keelback, which is essentially a Type 6, but with a few kind of changes, because I don't have a Type 6. I mean, I think the Type 6 is a good stepping stone. It's like the, you know, first serious trader you buy on your way to kind of bigger ships. You can't really do very much other than trade, but it does trading pretty decently, I want to say. So I mean, I was in a Type 6 for a while when I started the game originally, when I was still kind of trading things and moving things from port A to port B. And I enjoyed my time in that ship, but I was also very glad when I eventually sold it. That was until I ended up in the Type 7 and realized how bad the Type 7 is. And then I regretted it. And I was like, I miss the Type 6.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. So Type 6 is a really interesting ship because it's almost small enough to be categorized as a small ship, and price-wise, it's also between a lot of other small ships. So technically, even though the size-wise it is larger, and there's also a shield panel, whatever, who cares? Nobody cares really about that. Type 6 really competes with all the other small ones. And when it comes to all or nothing type of a ship, really Type 6 is the case for just a straight up, this is trading ship, as the Type 6 transporter name implies and everything else. Until, let's see. Yeah, Type 6 actually does beat all the small except one. All the small ships in cargo space as well, showing that bigger size category also brings in quite a lot more or less restrictions when it comes to the internal compartments and so on and so forth. However, there is one interesting thing about Type 6 that actually quite a few people have realized very early on. Without cargo in it, it's a great jumping ship. In fact, it is one of the ships that actually is affected quite a bit by the fall off. The more weight you put on it, the less jump range you get, and it's quite a bit more drastic on this ship more than most other ones.
So,
but if you
so far, in terms of Yamiks build, we got the mining adder, and now we got the exploration Type 6. We should we should keep it.
Say what you. It works. The thing is, it genuinely has a really good jump range. I currently don't have the list of the furthest jumping ships, but Type 6 ranks pretty high. I think it was in the top 10 before the new ships arrived. So yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's
really
in the top 45.
So yeah, overall, it's a surprisingly good exploration ship, if you will. And yeah, you can bring pretty much everything along outside of course, a multi-crew personnel or a fighter. But, you know, we'll get to that. So yeah, Type 6 overall, it's...
Man,
it's
you have to make an exploration build for a Type 6. I'm gonna post it all around, man. Like a mining build for the adder and an exploration.
Max out FSD and you're done.
I mean, it's mandatory at this point. Like we gotta have it. All right, so that's the
For
Type
my
6.
suggested changes,
Great exploration ship. What we got after the Type 6? What's on our list?
Dolphin.
The
Next is Dolphin.
That is a ship I know, and that is a ship I love.
Although I think, hold on, how much did Cobra 4 talk? We'll talk about Cobra 4 after this one. But yeah, Cobra 4 I think was cheaper in between these two. But regardless, Dolphin, let's go.
So we skipped the Cobra 4. Now, unfortunately, my Dolphin is parked 3 hours away from here in Shindes. But so as you can see from this picture, the Dolphin I use is my taxi. It's my taxi ship. The Dolphin is unique in a number of ways. Like the main thing for which makes it the most unique is actually its heat characteristics. It is the coldest ship in the game by a wide margin. Even the DBS and DBX, which are considered very cold running ships.
Yeah, it used to be really cool before this thing came along.
Right.
I remember the day when it came along, and if only there was a stealth gameplay. Oh,
I know, but you know, the thing is, there's not necessarily stealth gameplay except for very niche things like smuggling and the like, which were a big thing, by the way. Long range smuggling was the first big money that came to the game, and in that case, it mattered. Here, not so much. But there is a such thing as comfort. Like, for example, this ship is capable of scooping stars and running at full fuel scoop while charging its FSD without overheating. And there's value in that if you're going places. Like, you can just scoot by, charge. In fact, the funny thing is that it will start scooping fuel after so the fuel for the jump is taken out of your hold when the countdown starts, not when the countdown ends of your jump. So during those 5 seconds when the countdown is running, this thing will continue scooping fuel. So this thing is actually capable of arriving at its destination with a full fuel tank, which is, again, not something many ships can do without taking heat damage or using heat sinks. So it's got a lot of comfort. It's also got a pretty slim profile from a landing perspective, which means it can land pretty freaking anywhere in the galaxy. So it's great for exobiology. I use it also as an exobiology ship. And it does okay in combat too. I mean, it's limited by its hard points. But
I'm sorry, two smalls. You're better off with a fucking eagle, literally, than this.
Well, depends what you're trying to do. It depends what you're trying to do. Like, two smalls, if you put things that bite in there, two smalls can bite. Again, depends what you're trying to do. But,
like a chihuahua? Sure.
Well, I mean, look, for example, if you're playing a shield strip support, you can put Cyto Scramblers in there. Cyto Scramblers have a DPS of large beams. Put 2 Cytos on this thing, and it hurts. It hurts shields, like, pretty significantly so. And it's basically impossible to target and impossible to track because it runs so freaking cold all the time. So, I mean, it's got some niche combat roles. It's certainly not, okay. See, here's the thing. We got the mining adder from Yamiks, we got the exploration type 6 from Yamiks, and now we got the combat dolphin from Mechan. Like we got a list of amazing builds coming out of this stream, guys. Like,
that's one big abomination, man.
Yeah,
for 2 million credits.
A mining adder is instead totally meta. All right. What do you think of a dolphin?
Why the hell does it exist? For 2 million credits, you are literally with 2 small hard points, when at the same time, literally, a ship that costs 1/10, less than 1/10 of the price of Dolphin, you get extra 2 hard points that are medium. Viper 3. Sure, internal cargo space is quite a bit larger than Viper 3. Though it does not beat Type 6. So, well, like with all the South Kruger ships, Dolphin has one, and, well, outside of the previously mentioned little heat uniqueness, shall we call it, well, Dolphin's really only purpose and unique aspect or niche is in passenger missions, allowing one luxury cabin.
You know, the funny thing is, I completely forgot that the Dolphin is actually classed as a passenger liner. Believe it or not, it's true. You're right. It's like the smallest passenger liner. But in my mind, passenger ships, passenger missions are such not a thing.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's actually, of all the gameplay loops in Elite, it's not even the worst. So it's you're right.
It's a decently paying gameplay loop if you find a decent location for it, I suppose. Missions that give you location to go to from the same place.
All you have to do is go 20,000 light years and come back, and you know you can make up to like some 20 million or so. It's like great payouts for most missions.
Sure. Oh, what a noob trap that is. But generally speaking, Dolphin is really, again, its original idea is geared towards specifically passenger missions and literally nothing else. So for that, the game itself fails it immediately because the passenger missions themselves suck, and more specifically, there's no particular role for any of the South Kruger ships. You'll find the same critique about all three of them due to the luxury cabins literally barely ever, if at all, being better than first class cabins or cabin missions essentially. They pay
speak
basically
for yourself.
the same.
I'm taking a luxury cabin. You can go in the economy.
Oh, by
or
all
cargo
means,
hold if you want.
be my guest, of course, yes. But generally speaking, a rebalance for the missions, first of all, is required, and second of all, actual emphasis and some kind of support for passenger missions, generally speaking. One of the more obvious changes I would suggest immediately is just, hey, let's add some kind of a function that you go in a starport, pick a destination, and then the game gives you all the missions possible, refreshes it, and gives you for that location, rather than you needing to either sit there like an idiot and wait until the missions are refreshed for the same location, or just pick one mission and just go there, which is not fun. If you're a bus driver, well, you're going to be selecting destination, and whatever passengers come, once the bus is full or once the time for departure is there, you depart with whatever amount is inside you. And passenger missions definitely need some kind of a focused pass, if you will, for focused destination pass, or some kind of support, because there's really no reason to pick up Dolphin. Like, it's a straight downgrade, both in cargo or in jump range. And my suggestion, if you're really not gonna fix the passenger missions or improve them in any kind of a way, really the only way to properly improve it is just give it bizarrely weird and high jump range, maybe. But even that ain't gonna be saving it too much, I'd say. It's hard to say, again, so... Yeah, jump range is a solution for this. If you're not gonna go combat, obviously it can't. If you're not gonna go trading,
I just told you that there's Mechan's Dolphin combat build. Like,
remind me, are you better off with a Viper in that scenario, or a Diamondback Scout? I think so.
If you need internals, Dolphin does better than the Viper Mk III. Like, if you need to run cold, the Dolphin does better.
Okay, Type 6.
Okay, but Type 6
for combat.
Well, that's already taken as an explorer, so we can't repurpose that.
It's literally the same ship, just with internals being better for Type 6, and surprisingly also jump range, I think. Oh wait, no, Dolphin was higher, but it still needs a bit.
Dolphin can jump. Dolphin is a good taxi.
Yeah.
All right. So what we got after Dolphin?
Cobra 4. Let's go with Cobra 4.
Cobra 4. Well, I don't have it. Do you have a Cobra 4? Did you pre-order?
No,
Odyssey?
I don't have access to it. So I'm just going to use Cobra 3 for this one. Imagine that it's red or something.
Neither of us
and with some
know this shit.
Ship kits. So yeah, Cobra 4. Do you know anything about it?
Well, I only know what people told me because, again, I didn't pre-order Odyssey, so I don't have access to the Cobra 4. People say that the Cobra 4 is literally the worst ship in the game because it handles so poorly and it is so slow. Again, I take them at their word, and honestly, without the ability of flying it myself, I can't really have an independent opinion on whether I agree that it is the worst ship in the game. But it does look like it handles extremely poorly, and it also suffers from like being laden and being weighed down a lot. So combat builds of a Cobra Mark IV tend to have half of their optional internals kind of empty for purposes of not weighing it down excessively, which really cripple its top speed and handling. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a trap. Like if you look at the hardpoints, you're like, hardpoints look enticing, but then you don't have the power distributor to kind of use them, and you don't have the ship that is really able to turn at all, or even move much. So it doesn't really help to have some big guns if you can't fire them and if you can't train them on targets. So Cobra 4, big thumbs down. Big thumbs down.
Cobra 4, so it was an exclusive ship for pre-orders of Horizons back in the day, and also Lifetime Pass expansion holders, and I think the pre-orders for the base game as well back in the day. But either which case, it came with the Horizons essentially as one of the selling things, and it's the first, well, outside of Kickstarter, it was actually the proper exclusive pay-to-win ship.
Pay to win. The Cobra Mark IV. Pay to lose, man.
I can explain in detail as to what it is. We'll get to it, probably. We'll get to it. But generally speaking, it was the exclusive ship, right? Specifically, developers knew that, hey, if we make this thing actually really good or even competitive, well, people will complain that the people who pre-ordered it, well, they got an unfair advantage, something that we can't even access in a normal game, and that is fair. So that's why they made it bad. They consciously made it bad, and I cannot fathom any other scenario of why it's so bad.
No,
so
I can
what
fathom
makes it
a
so
few.
bad?
Right.
Yeah, well,
I can fathom
gross
several,
incompetence.
actually.
Sure,
Right.
yeah. Assume stupidity before malice. Fair enough.
Right.
But no. Generally speaking, right. So Cobra 4 comes with an extra medium hardpoint, making it quite a bit more damage output capable than all the other small ships beforehand. It also has more internal space. However, it does not rival, or rather, it comes close, but it doesn't beat Type 6. So, generally speaking, the unique aspects of Cobra 4 was that it had the biggest cargo capacity of all small ships. Until recently. But yeah, generally speaking, it also had, let's see, if I remember correctly, also damage outputs? Maybe Diamondback Explorer actually had more damage output, and of course...
the DB
yeah,
actually hits a
Diamondback
lot
Explorer
harder than
has more
Cobra Mark
damage
IV.
output than Vulture. But yeah, generally speaking... It excelled in the cargo capacity. Also, it had quite a bit more hull, and much like Viper 4, Cobra 4 also just bulked up, essentially. It took the Cobra 3, the Mark III version of the ship, just slammed more Viagra into it, and lo and behold, the thing barely can move with the big dong that it has. So that's kind of a problem. Generally speaking, the maneuverability, top speed, everything just suffered because of that. But you had more hull, and I think a little bit more shield as well. But regardless, it was just more tanky, more damage, but barely could move in comparison. Hence, it was really not that useful. However, for trading, well, it would be really good, but sadly there are no stations or places that accept only small ships. So, Cobra 4 had to compete with medium ships. And there is already a ship that is quite a lot cheaper. Right now, no, Cobra 4 was actually cheaper than Type 6, but regardless, you got Type 6. You have to compete with Type 6 that has better jump range and also more cargo space. And in trading, it just could not compete. Hence, the best aspect of it that it has, which is the cargo capacity, fell out the window just as soon as you could afford Type 6, and sadly you could do that very quickly. So yeah, Cobra 4, for those very reasons, just simply sucked ass. So question is, how do you fix it? Well, my suggestions, well, you could really fix it multiple ways. You could give it more, first of all, unexclusive it. screw the old Horizons pre-order, people. Again, it's been long enough time. Just give us new ship, and Cobra 4, as shit as it is, just why not? Pure and simple. After all, Elite Dangerous is now combined base game with Horizon, so yeah, I don't really see a reason why to keep it exclusive. Either which case, when it comes to how to fix it, well, you can go the route of Viper 4 and slam even more hull onto it without beating it. You need the game changes to support hull tanks in the first place, or just give it more jump range, or yeah, generally speaking, just give more jump range, and it would immediately have a little bit more use, even though it is more bulked up Cobra, essentially. So yeah, it would have some sort of a stepping stone kind of a property to it. But it's still pretty hard to sort of balance it in between all the other ships that it is surrounded by, namely Diamondback Scout or Type 6.
So basically, we agree. It sucks.
Yeah. All right. Oh, gods. Okay, we got Diamondback Explorer. So,
DBX.
thoughts on next DBX?
This is a ship I spent quite a bit of time in the saddle of, so I know this ship pretty well in terms of how it flies and how it fights. Obviously, it's meant to be an explorer. It's got the jump range, it's got decent internals, although it does suffer from having an undersized fuel scoop, which makes scooping with the Diamond Explorer annoying. It has excellent thermals, like its sister, the Diamondback Scout. Not quite at the Dolphin levels, but better than anything else in the game. So there's that. And from a combat perspective, it has a pretty decent power distributor and a large and 2 medium hardpoints with pretty decent convergence. So this ship, even though it's classed as an explorer, actually hits pretty hard. The flip side and the balancing fact of it is that it flies pretty poorly. It really struggles to turn, and it doesn't have quite the acceleration of its smaller siblings. As a result, the way you fight in this ship, at least in anti-Xenar combat, is this is the first ship that is what we call an obligate boost orbiter, which means you need to be on that boost and you need to be essentially constantly boosting for this ship to fly anything unlike a brick. Because if you fly it off boost, this ship is a flying brick. But if you boost it, it can actually fly pretty decently, and because it has a pretty decent sized power distributor, it can boost frequently enough to be able to sustain some kind of combat characteristics. It hits reasonably hard, as I mentioned. It flies bad, but with boost it flies okay. All in all, this used to be one of the favorite speedrunning ship among smalls, until again some of the newer ships come around. So it's a good one. It's a good one in my hangar. I'm glad I still keep it in my hangar because the ship I'm pretty sort of like, I like it.
Yeah, right. So, Diamondback Explorer, the very first ship, or cheapest ship, that has a large hardpoint, which is a very big thing. And having, even by description, Diamondback Explorer is a dual-role ship designed with both exploration and combat in mind. So yeah, it's a combat explorer, though primarily these days it's mostly known for being the... Let's see, it was a second furthest jumping ship right after Anaconda, and for that I absolutely loved the idea behind it. It is the smallest, the most stripped down ship. Because of that low weight, it was able to jump almost as far as this end game ship, and that was fantastic. It allowed explorers to, no matter of their stature, or Volat more specifically, to enter the really high-end exploration game, if you will. However, because it's so cheap, well, you come with quite a bit of sacrifices. And I also like the old-school competition between Diamondback Explorer and Asp Explorer. Asp Explorer jumped as not quite as far, but could carry quite a lot more, especially as McCann mentioned, the fuel scoop was the biggest gripe for a lot of them. And for that reason, they were willing to sacrifice that overall maximum jump range for just more comfort. And that's such a cool feature. That's such a cool variety, piece and aspect of it. Though when it comes to the combat aspect, well, yeah, it's very silent, and you could make a meme silent running build, and I've been ganked by those, but they can't keep silent running for long. And once you drop the silent running, or even just simply become too hot, without the shield, which you are required essentially for a silent running ship, missiles come out and module damage comes in. So yeah, that's again the problem with it. And of course the flight profile, because it is bulkier, it won't be as maneuverable as a scout. So my suggestion was essentially to, well, really do nothing with it. It's perfect as it is, or sort of. My suggestion really for the Diamondback Scout was to overtake in the long-range jumping, because again, Diamondback Scout is basically the same ship but just lighter. So because it is lighter, it kind of should jump a little bit further than Diamondback Explorer. So maybe. That's really the only suggestion I really have, but still to this day, I continuously use, or at least used to use it, because of its overall maximum jump range. It was a perfect traveling ship, not exploration, because, well, you can categorize exploration in 2 to 3 types of modes. Number one, just point A to point B as fast as possible. The so-called traveling exploration. Then there's the sightseeing exploration, which is as Explorer. You pack literally everything you can and live off the grid in your bunker house that you can fly.
In your Type 6.
That's the. So yeah, and then the third type maybe is just I don't know, some kind of a colonization type of thing, but that's whatever. So yeah, basically traveling versus the comfort exploration or sightseeing type of exploration. And Diamondback Explorer was the traveler, while Asp Explorer was the sightseer. And that sort of a fighting between those two ships was wonderful to see, and really cool sort of decision you had to choose, whether you liked more jump range or more comfort. That was really cool aspect of those two ships. Until recently.
Speaking of, should we talk quickly about the 2 remaining small ones and then get to the final ship that has not been mentioned and maybe shall not be mentioned? Like,
no, actually,
we have the
yeah,
Keelback.
it'll be more fun.
We have the Keelback.
Keelback is medium.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. It's classed as medium.
Yeah.
Is it really?
So we
I
only
thought
have 2 small ships, and that is the
skip.
Imperial Courier.
But
So,
Imperial
Courier.
Type 6 is also medium. Like, but whatever. Like, you jump back and forth. What we got?
Yep.
We got the Imperial Courier.
Imperial Courier. The
Imperial
first
Courier.
cheapest
Nice.
unlock for the Navy on Imperial side.
Wasn't it the Imperial Eagle? Did I skip it? I thought we just talked about it.
Imperial Eagle is the cheapest one that you automatically have unlocked. It technically has a rank unlock, but you never need to do anything because it's a rank 0 unlock. It's just simply listed as, it belongs to us.
Nice.
But you don't need to unlock it.
I see. That makes no sense, but I see. Yeah, so the Imperial Courier is fantastic combat ship, like, and one of the most beautiful ships I think in the game, as far as like the details are concerned. The cabin is so pretty. In fact, it was copied to make the Corsair. The whole ship was templated to make the Corsair because it's so pretty. It's very fast. It hits pretty hard. Weapon conversion is not perfect, but it's pretty good, and it can mount 3 mediums, which for AX weapons is perfect, because pretty much all X weapons are like...
The word is just consistency with the ship.
So, big fan.
Yeah.
Should we in the interest of time, Yamiks, because I'm going to need to bounce in like 2.5 minutes. Should we talk about the ship that shall not be named?
Oh, from the mediums, from the small ones. Okay, well, sure, yeah. Oh, God. Cobra 5. Oh, God. Thoughts? Well, I have pretty strong opinions, so you go.
Yeah, I think we all agree. I think this is another one where we do agree. I think we agree on 80% of the ships, by the way, so far. It's a good hit ratio. Well, the Cobra 5 is the best small ship in the game by a significant margin, and probably a bit too overpowered as far as like small ships are concerned, because it does pretty much everything small ships can do in the best possible way. It's also a blast to fly. It's like really, really fun to fly. But yeah, maybe it's too good.
Right. So Cobra 5, the third, the third.
And it looks pretty sleek
new
too. So you call it that,
ship.
but it's also looks really cool. Like,
No, the number 3 in the line, if you will, from the new age ships. Yeah, I know how I pronounce the word turd. You turds.
oh yeah, I see. I see,
But no,
I see.
generally speaking, right, so when it comes to hard points, obviously it has the 3 mediums and 2 smalls, which is, I think it should be the same as Cobra 5, or was Cobra 5 with 3 smalls?
think you mean
Either
Cobra
which
4,
case, it's
but yeah.
essentially the same or better as Cobra 5. The difference is that also, including the internals, it's essentially the same, if I remember correctly. Utility mount size as well, the same thing. And when it comes to optionals, it is quite a bit more spacier than Cobra 4. So, generally speaking, it is an upgrade in all manner of sense than Cobra 5. So now, no longer it is slow. No longer it is. Well, it is also bulkier. Oh wait, no. Hull-wise, I think Cobra 4 still was bulkier, but generally speaking, shield-wise, definitely it was higher. But the most important part, that the thing that really makes Cobra 5 so incredibly great, is just the insane amount of speed you can cram into it, paired with really good shields, or at least for the size, and a super small profile. So essentially it's a boom and zoom in, technically a multi-role ship, when it really is a phenomenal combat ship. And the word little bit for overpowered does not even reach the truthfulness of what this ship is, essentially. And it's just disgusting to see the amount of things you can do with it and the power it actually offers. Sure, it's a small ship and it doesn't deal insane amount of damage, but try hitting it with the speed of around 650 meters a second with full gear, and especially high recharge shields. Basically, you can't kill it. That's the thing. I'm a PvP noob and what not else, but I've seen this thing in action, both as myself flying this similar version, as well as being literally
the PvP version of a Cobra fights shieldless, though. Believe it or not.
Yeah, it's.
I guess.
For the 2 million price, it's both. Well, it's not quite as fast as Imperial Courier, but the amount of damage it can output, as well as just general survivability and power that it brings, both in survivability, in health-wise, speed, and especially maneuverability, it's just unparalleled. It's quite a lot more heavier than Imperial Courier, and yet Imperial Courier, a ship that is barely under 100 tons, or I think it was twice as light. Yeah, almost twice as light as Cobra 5. It barely can it can't outturn Cobra 5. Imperial Courier is light, super light, but it just can't keep up with Cobra 5. Except for straight line speed, of course. There's a difference in that, but that's it. When it comes to everything else, it just shreks. And when it comes to cargo capacity as well, it beats Type 6. Or, well, maybe not exactly. It has, I think, 2 tons less cargo capacity than Type 6.
We already determined that's an explorer.
What a balancing act.
Well,
At the same time, Cobra 5 also has very similar jump range. Not quite as... let's see, actually. I need to resort to, again, looking at the charts of the furthest jumping ships, but it basically has both good jump range, both good, not good, but great combat capabilities, and of course, jump range and cargo. So essentially, in all manner of sense, it's yeah, technically it is nearly twice as expensive as Type 6, but it basically is just Type 6 with bolted on not just Cobra 3, but a Viper 3 on top. So sorry, but no.
It's
when
really good.
Imperial Courier is barely, well, it's more expensive. Just and it should excel in combat. It doesn't beat it. Like, how does that make sense?
I know. It's crazy. It's really good. It's really good. It's the best small ship, I think, by a wide margin.
And I wonder why it's so good.
I know, right? That's
That's
it's a good
mystery
question.
to me.
It's a good question. Well, you could have asked that question about the Type 11 in this pre-release version until it was eventually adjusted. Let's call it. But that's a story for another day. Yamiks, I'm timing out here. Thank you so much for joining me. I had a lot of fun.
Of course.
Like, love chatting to you about
really
the game.
fun.
We kind of
You don't want to finish on Vulture?
If
You don't want to finish all small ships?
Yeah. Well, what we got left?
Vulture is the last
The Vulture.
small ship.
The
so we
Vulture
can
is not
finish
a
on
small
that,
ship. The Vulture is a medium ship which pretends to be small. It's like a
That's
flying.
the beauty
It's
in
like
it.
a flying
It
shotgun.
barely fits.
It's a flying shotgun that has massive power plant issues, which is a good thing. We were talking about it, like, because it creates that kind of limitation trade-off discussion. At least did so before engineering came about in a major way. With engineering, it's a bit more flexible, but still, like, it's pretty unique flying shotgun. Again, Yamiks, are you going? Are you on Twitch or what? Where are you streaming?
I am streaming on Twitch and YouTube at the same times and all that stuff. I'm on
if you want to keep going, let me raid you on Twitch if I figure out.
Oh God, I'll be ending as well. Might as well just put
We're
a good kibosh on this
let
one.
me
as well,
see if
so
there's
no
anybody
need,
that I would sort of raid in here.
No need. Again, I'll end myself as well here soon. But
nobody I know. Nobody I know is streaming right now, or nobody I would consider rating. All right, folks, then thank you again for joining us today. We had fun. Appreciated you joining us for this little chat about ships and Elite Dangerous, and glory to mankind.
Of course, anti-Xenar and all that.
Yeah.
All right. Right. My thing is still going, but I'll finish on the Vulture on my end. So yeah, but
see you guys.
thanks again to Mechan. Go check him out.